friends, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Mindy and this is See Mindy Mom. And today I'm continuing with a new series that I've started called Dollar Dinners. I am sharing with you some recipes for meals that I'm feeding my family that are nutritious and healthy, but that are also super cheap. So stay tuned. Today I'm sharing with you two recipes. One of them is going to be dinner for my family tonight, and another one I am going to turn into a meal prep for my husband and I. Now, my idea with this series was that I would actually go to the grocery store and buy the ingredients and show you the receipts. Unfortunately, in the situation we all currently find ourselves in, I can't just go out to the store, especially for a small trip. So instead, I am just going to share with you the simple ingredients that I'm using in these recipes, and I'm going to give you the prices according to the Walmart grocery app or the last time I was in Walmart. The two recipes that I'm making tonight are going to feature this turkey smoked sausage. And I am going to use one of these sausage links in one recipe and one of these sausage links in the other recipe. That's one of the ways that I can cut a corner where budget is concerned, is by reducing the amount of meat. But don't worry if you're worried about, trying to keep your family full or trying to have protein-rich or fiber-rich recipes. I try to include vegetables in my recipes. I also use whole grains like whole grain pasta or brown rice. And I also like to throw in beans from time to time. I will leave any recipes that inspired me linked in the description box below. And I'll also leave directions for how I'm fixing them, because of course I'm going to make a few substitutions and adjustments, not just for budget reasons, but to make it more WW friendly, because I'm a person who is working that program. So here are the things that I'm going to use in these recipes. Again, just a reminder, pretend like all of this is Walmart brand, which actually all of it was purchased at Walmart, but pretend like all of it is conventional. I had to go with some things that I already had in the pantry right there, because I have already used up some of the stuff that I purchased at Walmart the last time. So I have a package of steam in the bag broccoli florets. Those are about $1 a bag at my Walmart. A yellow onion is around 62 cents each. A cluster of garlic cloves averages around 48 cents. And this is actually what's left of the one I used the last time. So I'm using up the rest of those. 2 cans of green beans. These are usually 50 cents a can at my Walmart. A can of diced tomatoes, again, the conventional kind, are usually 64 cents a can. And a can of beans, again, the conventional beans, and I'm going to use pinto beans. You could use kidney beans if you wanted to instead. Those are usually 68 cents a can. I'm going to use a can of diced tomatoes with green chilies. This is the generic brand of Rotel, and this runs, I believe, 64 cents at my Walmart as well. I already showed the Butterball turkey sausage. I got these at Walmart for $1.93. A package of egg noodles. I bought the whole wheat egg noodles because those are 0 points on Purple, and I can find them at my Walmart. In fact, the stuff that you see here, most of it was purchased actually during the whole, pandemic crisis. So I was able to find some of these things even now. This is about $1.58 a bag at my Walmart. If you're using conventional egg noodles, just plain ones, they would probably be cheaper. I am using 3 ounces of shredded cheese, and yes, I did weigh this out on my scale. I shred my own cheese. An 8-ounce block of cheese at Walmart is $2.08, so you would only need about half of a block for this. But I'm including the full price in my full price breakdown for these recipes. You would need 1 small container of plain Greek yogurt. 1 small container is 64 cents. If you already have Greek yogurt in a large container in your fridge, you would need about 2/3 of a cup. And then a cup of rice. I was able to score a bag of brown rice for $1.12 at my Walmart a few weeks ago. And I'm not even using all of it. I'm only using half of it. I'm using 1 cup. If you want to use a different kind of rice, just be sure that you are researching how much liquid that recipe will need, because white rice doesn't take as much water as brown rice. Quick cooking rice takes less water than regular rice, so just be aware of that if you're using that in your recipes. So let me show you what the spices are that I'm going to use in these recipes. For the first recipe, I'm keeping it pretty simple, and I'm just using salt and pepper and Italian seasoning. And I will also be using some of my broth base in both of these recipes. If you have chicken bouillon, you could use that instead. If you have regular chicken broth in a carton or a can, you could use that. If you don't have any of those things, you could still just use water and just kind of rev up the spice a little bit, add a little bit more of the spices that it calls for, a little more salt and pepper just to kind of give it some flavor. The other recipe, again, I'm using a little bit of my broth base, but I'm also going to use Cajun seasoning. Now, I did not have any Cajun seasoning, but a quick search on Pinterest showed me that I could make it from these very common ingredients from my spice cabinet. So I just used that recipe to make myself a little bit of Cajun seasoning. I'll leave that linked in the description box. If you already have like a jar of Cajun seasoning, you could just substitute that instead, about a tablespoon or so of that for the jambalaya. Now, when I am determining what the cost of these recipes actually are, I am not including the cost of any spices or any cooking oils. I'm going to assume that you already have some of those things on hand. I do try to keep it pretty simple and not use anything, really odd or out of the ordinary. I try to just stick with ordinary spices and condiments that you would already have on hand in your house. And everybody has their own cooking oils that they prefer, whether it's butter or vegetable oil or olive oil or coconut oil. As it were, I don't believe the recipes that I'm using today actually call for any of that, but I would not be including that in the overall price. So the price of the ingredients that I showed you comes out to $13.63. And if I make each of these meals serve 6, it comes out to just $1.12 per meal, which I think is not bad, especially when you consider the fact that these are family friendly, that they're nutritious, that they include vegetables, that these are WW friendly as well. So let's get into it now and make some yummy food. First things first, I have just chopped up my smoked sausage and then peeled and chopped my onion and my garlic. And I'm just gonna let that kind of brown over low heat for a couple of minutes. Fresh onions and garlic is such an easy way to add a lot of flavor to your dishes, and it's so cheap. And just a reminder that I'm going to use half of this mixture in one dish and half of this mixture in the other dish. So once this is done browning, I'm gonna remove half of it, and then I'll come back and finish up this first recipe, and then I'll show you what I'm doing with the other half of it. While that is browning, I am just going to take my tomatoes and my Greek yogurt, and I'm going to combine those in a bowl and give them a good stir. And then after I have removed half of the sausage and onion mixture for the other dish, I'm going to add this yogurt and tomato mixture, which, by the way, you could use sour cream if you wanted to instead. I'm just using yogurt, Greek yogurt, because that's what I have. To this, I'm going to add a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And then once my sausage and onion mixture is finished, and I've removed half of it for the other recipe, I will add this mixture right here along with my package of egg noodles, about 3 teaspoons of my broth base, and about 3 cups of water to my sausage and onion mixture. I will bring that to a low boil and then reduce heat and simmer it for probably about 10 to 15 minutes until the egg noodles are cooked to my liking. Now, as usual, you want to make sure that you're watching your pasta dishes whenever you're doing a one-pot dish, because the amount of water it needs may vary depending on the kind of pasta that you're using. I'm going to start with this mixture plus 3 cups of water, and hopefully that's enough, but if I need to add a little bit more throughout so that it doesn't dry out, that's what I will do. But that is it for this dish. I'm just going to serve this once it's done cooking along with the steamed broccoli tonight for my family, and we will let you know how it is. Now that I've got that first dish going, I am just going to simultaneously cook the meal prep jambalaya that my husband and I are going to eat for lunches throughout the week. So I'm just going to take the rest of my sausage and onion and garlic mixture, and I'm going to add to it my can of beans, which I rinsed and drained, my 1 cup of brown rice, my can of diced tomatoes with green chilies. I'm going to add the Cajun seasoning that I made and a couple of teaspoons of my broth base, and then 3 cups of water. I'm going to bring that to a low boil and cover and simmer it until the rice is fully cooked. Since my rice is brown rice, it's probably going to take more like 20 to 30 minutes. But as I said before, just make sure you are adjusting water and cook times and temperatures according to whatever starches you are using. So while these dishes are finishing cooking, I thought I would share with you a little more math as far as the points go. For the noodle dish, it comes out to just 2 smart points per serving, because the only thing that is worth points in that dish is the smoked sausage pasta. So if you wanted to sprinkle a little cheese on top of it, or maybe serve it with a slice of bread on the side, you've probably got some points left over to do that. On the blue and the green plans, it comes out to 8 smart points, because you have to add back in the noodles. And obviously some of this will vary a little bit depending on what brands and kinds of ingredients you're using. So if you're using something different than what I'm using, you might just want to scan those products and recalculate these points values. Where the green plan is concerned, even though I'm using Greek yogurt in this recipe, it's not enough to actually count for any points across you know, the recipe. And these figures are for if you are serving 6 people. So if you're serving 6 people, the noodle dish on purple comes out to 2 points. On blue and green, it's 8 points. And that is if you're using the ingredients that I'm using. For the jambalaya type dish that I made, it comes out to 4 smart points on purple, 7 smart points on blue, and 8 smart points on green. And that is after I add 2 smart points worth of cheese to each of my servings. So if I make that dish serve 6, I'm going to spread it out across 6 different containers because I'm making it as a lunch prep for my husband and I. And I'm going to add 2 smart points, which is about ½ an ounce of sharp cheddar cheese to each of those portions. That's what I have the 3 ounces of cheese for. And then I'm also going to divvy up my green beans across those dishes so that my husband and I will have something really hearty for lunch. Now, where protein is concerned, with the noodle dish that we're going to be eating tonight, it actually comes out to 16 grams of protein per serving when I make it serve 6. That's because the whole wheat egg noodles have protein in them, and so does the little bit of Greek yogurt that I'm using along with the meat. So even though I cut the smoked sausage in half, I still have a dish that has, you know, a pretty hefty dose of protein for not having very much meat in it. For the beans and rice dish, it actually comes out to about 15 grams of protein after I add the cheese to my dish. The beans are going to add a little bit of protein, and even brown rice has a few grams of protein. The other thing about these 2 dishes is that I'm using whole grains, I'm using vegetables in and with both of these dishes, and as a result, the fiber content is going to be pretty high, which is going to be helpful in keeping us fuller for longer. So tonight's dinner is just about done. I will actually turn you guys around and show you what it looks like, and I'll also let you know what the family thinks of it. I don't know what you think about the noodles.
Okay, I'll eat it.
You gotta try a few. Ooh, is it hot?
Yes.
Maybe blow on it for a second. What do you think, McKenna? You're thinking about it. You're not sure. Brick, what do you say?
Good.
Good? Thumbs up? Daddy says it's good. Ruthie?
It's okay.
It's okay. McKenna?
I will accept this dish. And I have thumbs up.
Okay. I like it too. It's pretty flavorful for such a simple dish.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, that's what I have for you today. I am going to get to work cleaning up this messy kitchen now. That dinner was really delicious, very simple, and it's probably not, you know, the best thing that I've ever made, and I'm sure the lunch prep isn't necessarily either, but these are recipes that are meant to just, you know, get us through, be really nourishing, and, you know, help us stay on plan while we're also trying to stay on a budget. So hopefully that's helpful to you guys. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and I'll be sure to check it again with another video very soon. Bye.